Welcome to Gen Y Footy, episode 23. Well, boys, welcome to the show. And 2 weeks down in finals, it's fantastic, Dale.
Exciting football. Finals football, a great game in Adelaide on Friday night, and then the home of footy, the MCG, a great win by Collingwood.
What was your highlight, mate?
My highlight was Daisy Thomas. I love seeing a player that's been under a little bit of pressure, got criticised, didn't know whether he was going to play at all. He's been training by himself all week, come out, turn a game in 5 minutes. His third quarter, 3 goals, great to see, well done.
Do you like it with long hair or short hair?
Short hair. I liked his little haircut on the weekend. Had a little bit of short on the sides, a little bit longer on the top. Gives him a little bit of spunk, and he delivered.
Yeah. Now, Frankie,
you're a big fan of Dale Thomas too.
Huge fan. I love his speckies. I love his goals. I love his celebrations.
You love his personality.
Love his personality. He's up and about.
Has he sledged you ever?
I've never heard him sledge me.
Yeah.
But he's a great player. And I noticed on the weekend when he kicked that goal, the camera angle from behind. He gave him 3 fist pumps before the crowd behind the goals. He realised it had gone through, so he loved it.
Now, Frankie, it was an emotional night for the Pies on Saturday night. They got the job done. It was a couple of John McCarthy's best mates who were playing, Blair and
Dave Beams was emotional after the game. I don't know, I've never seen anything like this before, Dale, to have AFL players still playing, have an AFL player who is no longer with us during the season as well. And even the signs in the crowd, they haven't forgotten about John McCarthy.
An extremely difficult situation, obviously, off the field for what's going on with his family, John's family, but for those players that actually turned up and played a game of football, a huge final, you know, they obviously didn't want to get knocked out in straight sets, and to perform like they did, particularly Dane Beams, like his year's been unbelievable, and his game had 30 possessions again, 15 contested, was getting tagged all night, and football's an emotional sport. And then I thought he handled himself really well after the game in the post-match interview. You know, obviously touching on one of his best mates that's no longer with us, but I have full respect for those two guys and their feelings, and also the Collingwood Football Club, who's handled the whole week really well.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Dale, you wanted to touch on the crowds from the weekend. They were a bit down, and there's not many people coming to the footies in the finals, is there?
Us Aussies love our footy, but they didn't on the weekend for some reason. And Adelaide to start with, I don't understand, because Adelaide's got 50-odd thousand members, and then they turn out there's 30, 31, 32,000 at a big game, and Adelaide haven't been in this position for years. So I would have expected that they'd all be there, but for some reason they weren't. And then I reckon the AFL would be a little bit disappointed with 65,000 on Saturday night for the Collingwood game. I actually don't understand why, and I hope the finals going forward. So there's 2 big games this weekend, and then obviously the granny everyone will be there for that. But I'd like to think that this weekend we have full seats taken.
Jared Petrenko, and speaking of emotion, he was very disappointed, did his shoulder. What do you do in a situation like that? They know he's not going to play, but he might play. They're not saying that he's ruled out 100%, but it didn't look...
Get a jab?
Yeah, I've had, in regards to jabs, I've had jabs in previous years, not this year, and they are an absolute treat. You don't feel anything, and then obviously after the game, or once they start wearing off, you're in a bit of strife. Yeah. I feel sorry for any guy that doesn't get to play finals footy. That's exactly why you're here. It's why you play as hard as you do week in, week out, so you give yourself an opportunity, and you just feel sorry for a guy like that. I think it was in like the last 10 or 15 seconds, and it looks so, simple. It didn't really look like anything was going to happen. He's obviously hit the deck and the shoulders popped out. So I do feel sorry for him.
They've got issues. They've got Daniel Talia out, and also Petrenko now with the cloud over his head.
So you've already ruled him out for this weekend's game?
It didn't look good. Well, they were crying for no reason.
They were ruled out last week. Well, this bloke is a big enough reason to go to the footy. Taylor Walker was outstanding on the weekend. He's already been likened to Wayne Carey.
Big Tex.
A few of those going around, but he's got a long way to go, Dale, to be Wayne Carey, but he is exciting to watch.
I love Tex, and watching the game on the weekend.
More than Jules?
Jules is a lot kinder to me, so I like Jules more. But I do enjoy Tex. I love watching him play, and the way he's kicking the ball 50, 60 metres and kicking some great, crucial goals. To compare him to Wayne Carey, maybe when Carey was 14, 15 and just a kid before he actually started playing AFL, Carey, in my mind, is one of the 2 best probably players of all time. So to compare him to the Duck is very flattering and very nice for Big Tex, but he's got a long way to go.
So basically what you're saying is that Tex Walker is like a 14-year-old Wayne Carey, is what you just said.
Being generous, 14, maybe 12, I was thinking.
With big ears.
Yeah, he's a good, and a mullet, haven't they? Yeah.
Now, your old mate, Rossi Lyon, your former coach, in a final series, of course, which is great for him.
Yep.
Now, he wants to get angry, but he just can't get angry. He doesn't seem to have an angry bone in his body. This is him getting very frustrated with things.
Yep.
And, he wants to get angry, but he goes, you know what, it's too late, the game's over, I'm not going to throw up that hard.
Yeah, I think he tried to smash the first phone, and he thought, I'll borrow somebody else's, I'll smash theirs, no, I'll give it back to you a little bit harder than what you gave it to me. It's just good to see.
He felt bad.
It did. He was obviously really disappointed. They put up a great fight, Freo. They've travelled obviously last week to win, and then obviously going to Adelaide 6 days later. A huge effort and put up a really good fight.
Yeah, 2013, very exciting for Fremantle next year. I think they'll be in the top 4. That's my prediction, Frankie.
Oh, I think they're doing very well. But you were saying no, Pav obviously didn't perform. He didn't play well.
Yeah,
Tell us the story.
I was a bit surprised, and I spoke about off camera Cloak, who had a standout game last week, and Pavlich, who won the game for him, and they're both really quiet this week. Finals football is very difficult, and the ability to stand up week after week is a real challenge. And nothing against Pav. I think he's a fantastic player and leads the club better than most other captains in the league. But it was sad to see they needed a big effort, and unfortunately,
Did you like Crowley's efforts?
Who did he play on?
Crowley? I don't know.
I don't follow him that closely.
keep an eye
He
on
played
the
on Scotty Thompson, I think, and then maybe went to Dangerfield for a little bit as well. Great player, has a crack.
Beautiful, boys. We could go all day, but plenty more Gen Y footy still to come. Dell's inbox up next. Welcome back to Gen Y Footy. Well, it's now time for our favourite segment on this show, Dell's Inbox.
Everyone's favourite segment, boys. Here it comes to the Dellinator. How's things, brah? Keeping it real on your holidays? Well, yes, I am. Anyways, I hear those Damo and Fred blokes are going on about shooting the show from your joint. Now I don't believe you. So I think Fred and Damo would be you two. So you've had a big impact on the show for the last 23 weeks.
We're definitely at Dell's place.
Yes.
If you are really at your joint, can you prove it? Or stop lying to us.
I'm not lying.
Wouldn't lie. Dale wouldn't lie. He's a saint, and saints don't lie.
And he goes on to
a sin.
That's right.
Actually goes on to say, I know it's probably not your fault. It would be Fred and Damo telling you to say it.
What's his name? What's his bloke's name?
Dino.
He hasn't left a name. That's what I'm saying, He hasn't left a name. Okay. All right.
Con.
It's Dan and Frankie, Con.
I can prove it. You want me to prove it?
Yeah.
All right.
Prove it. Well, you have to prove it.
Come
Right,
here.
so you got to prove it to Con.
They're running away. Come here, boys. I'll grab my dogs.
Yeah, I've got to get the dogs.
Well, now we've seen the dogs on the show before. We've had them as pictures on before, but now we're going to have the real dogs.
Here's the little one.
Oh, look at that. Is this one Elroy?
This is Elroy. Up, Huey. Huey, up here. And here's Huey.
And there's Huey. Now
They're the boys.
cute.
Which one's your favourite, Dale? Which one's your favourite dog?
Hugo. Elroy's a little bit stupid. He bumps his head a little bit. So he's the boys.
Dogs.
So there we go. I proved it.
There you go.
Yeah?
Con,
All right.
Con will probably say next week, you could probably bring the dogs into the studio. We're definitely at Dale's place.
All right, get out of here.
Hide them in. Are they
Go.
extras? They're cute dogs.
Yeah, get out of here. Go wreck the house or something. Get out of
Do they
here.
listen to you?
No, they don't. But they jump.
Yeah.
They know how to jump. And that's about it.
Right.
So.
Very cute, Dale.
Yeah. So we are at my house. That's to prove
Here
it.
you
We
go.
are.
Get out of the way, boys. All right.
Item 2, Dale, what do you got?
Next question. Dear Del, you boys were too harsh on Dino last week. Excuse me. The
agree.
bloke is a legend, and that video was yonks ago. You should have seen him in 1998 at the MCG playing Auskick. He kicked a bag of 5.
He did too.
Played seniors for his local club at 16.
Wow.
He is a freak show. I love him.
Yeah. Who wrote
Who's
that?
this? Who's writing this?
This is
You know, this one actually is from Dino. I said the first one. It's actually from Dino. So
different Dino.
coincidence? I don't think so. Anyways, here's Frankie doing his finest on the footy field just a couple of years ago. Here we are, Franklin.
The old trip
Doing
over your old feet.
doing your best work
That's
here,
called,
Frank. Explain
that's a decoy. What happened was I pretended to kick the ball and obviously succeeded doing that.
Yeah.
And then I picked the ball up and then ended up drilling it right down the full forward's
Of
throat
course you
on a
did.
very hard lead.
Whose was worse? Mine was more courage.
Yours was funny. I have to say yours was funny. I loved it. And then you limped off. And you're all...
Considering you haven't seen either of them.
No, I loved the first one.
If you were 100 kilograms at 14 years of age,
You know what? I wouldn't have played
back
footy if I was 100 kilograms at 14.
Exactly. Now, thank you for coming, Dale. We'll have one more Dale's inbox next week.
It's our
Of
second
course.
last show. It's starting to get emotional.
It is, but we need to preview the games of footy this weekend. It starts off with Hawthorn Adelaide at the MCG. Who's your tip?
Hawthorn. And it's up to Hawthorn how much they win by.
Who's
They
your
play decent footy,
Yep.
they'll win by 10. If they play average, they'll win by 2.
Who's your tip?
I'm going to go for Hawthorn. I don't think they can be beaten. Is that on Friday night or Saturday night?
That one is
Saturday
twilight. So
yes.
I don't think that they can be beaten.
Which is unusual because normally the team that finishes on top of the ladder
Yeah.
plays on the Friday night and gets an extra day's rest.
Yep.
Not this year.
All right, let's go to the next one. Sydney Collingwood, ANZ Stadium. This one, very interesting game. Who's your tip, Dale?
I'm going to go for Collingwood, and I love Sydney, and I actually hope they go a long way, but they'll end it this week, I think, because Collingwood play really well at AAMI Stadium.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if the game had been at the SCG, Sydney would win it. They love the tighter, in close games. Collingwood have a really good record at AAMI against Sydney.
Sydney won't lose for mine, Frankie.
Well, this is the thing, because they've obviously got to deal with ANZ Stadium. That's why they play them there. But
Yeah.
as a Sydney fan and a Sydney supporter, you'd be upset because it's not a home final. There's no advantage. And as you said, Collingwood play very good there.
Yeah.
So I understand the stands are getting demolished at the moment. But that's not the reason, because it's happened before. That's not a home final.
No,
that
it's
is not
not.
an advantage to
It's
Sydney.
more of a home final advantage for Sydney than it is for Collingwood, though.
Oh, it is if you
Yeah.
go by where you're playing, what's
Yeah.
that. But as a ground, that is a ground that either of those two teams don't go just the same.
Is it any different for Geelong, who play a home final at the MCG? Is that any different? They don't get to play down at Simmons.
It's a slight advantage, similar, but I'd say it's more of a advantage for Geelong to play at the MCG because they are very used to it as well.
To
to
go
that as
either
well.
way, that's a neutral ground. I can't pick it.
No, can't pick it.
Dane
I'm going
Swan
Sydney
always
Sydney.
plays well at AAMI Stadium in Sydney. Always plays well.
every time.
Every time.
What's the average?
33.
33.
That's good.
And a goal.
Boys, thank you to Level 7. Thank you to Blundstone.
Thank you to Vital
Thank you
Strength.
to Vital Strength. We've got one more show left. That's going to be a cracker next week. We'll see you.
Massive guest coming.
Oh, massive who's. He's bringing Buddy Franklin along. We can't wait for that.
He's playing
Nick
footy.
Redwald's going to join us. We'll see you next week on Gem White Footy. Nick Redwald's not really going to join us.
I don't even know him.
No, no.